Hi everyone, welcome to the session of ECA Electronic Circuit Analysis. In this session, we will learn about Class B power amplifier. And in Class B, we have two types of power amplifiers: push-pull power amplifier and complementary symmetry power amplifier. So first one is push-pull power amplifier. So what is push-pull amplifier? What is the efficiency of Class B power amplifier? So these topics we will cover in this session. In previous session, we have covered Class A power amplifier. We have two types of Class A power amplifiers. One is series fed Class A power amplifier, that is directly coupled. Second one is transformer coupled Class A power amplifier. And what is the efficiency of Class A power amplifier? For both the series fed and the transformer coupled amplifiers, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, what is the distortion we are facing with Class A. So those topics we have covered in previous session. Okay. So now we will see Class B power amplifier. So we know Class B power amplifier means here the transistor conducts for only one half of the input cycle. So that means if you give some full cycle as the input signal, full sine wave, that is positive and negative peaks. In Class B power amplifiers, it conducts for only, that is the transistor conducts for only one half of the input signal. Okay, because here in Class B power amplifier, the fusion point or operating point is located on the x-axis. In Class A, the operating point is located in the active region. But whereas in the Class B power amplifier, the operating point is located on the x-axis. So due to this, collector current flows only for one half of the input signal, and hence output signal is distorted. That means you cannot get full cycle at the output, even we are giving some full cycle input signal. Okay, so that means to get the full cycle at the output or at the load, we are using two transistors. We are using two transistors or a pair of transistors. So the transistor conducts in alternating half cycles of the input signal, and we can get some full cycle at the load. So that means if one transistor conducts for one cycle and the other transistor conducts for another half cycle. Okay, so that means we can get the full cycle at the output. So in Class B power amplifier, the transistor conducts for only one half of the input, one half cycle of the input signal. So to get why we are getting this half cycle at the output means for the Class B power amplifier, the transistor is designed in such a way that the operating point is located on the x-axis. Because of this operating point, we have some half cycle at the output. That is the transistor conducts for only half cycle for the full cycle of the input signal. Okay. So to get the full cycle, we are using two transistors. We are using two transistors. Those transistor conducts alternate half cycles of the input signal, and we may get the full cycle at the output. So here we have two types of Class B power amplifiers. One is push-pull Class B power amplifier. Second one is complementary symmetry Class B power amplifier. So depending on the two types of transistors we are using, that is whether we are using PNP or NPN, the two circuit configurations are possible. So that means when both the transistors are of same type, either NPN or PNP, that is if you are using two transistors as NPN transistors, or if you are using two transistors as PNP transistors, then though that type of power amplifier is push-pull Class B power amplifier. And second one is when the two transistors form a complementary pair. That is, one is NPN, another one is PNP. That is, one transistor is NPN, another one is PNP transistor. So that configuration is known as complementary symmetry Class B power amplifier. So depending on the transistors we are using, transistor configurations, we can classify the Class B power amplifiers as push-pull Class B power amplifier and complementary symmetry Class B power amplifier. In push-pull Class B power amplifier, two transistors are of same type. And in Class B complementary symmetry Class B power amplifier, two transistors are of complementary pair. Okay, that is, one is NPN, another one is. So first configuration is push-pull Class B power amplifier. So here push-pull means we are using two transistors as the same transistor, same type of transistors. Okay. So that means we are using two transistors. Why we are using two transistors? To get the full cycle at the output, we are using 2 transistors in class B power amplifier. If you are using 1 transistor, then we can get only 1 half cycle at the output. To get the full cycle at the output, whenever we are applying some full cycle sinusoidal waveform at the input, then we are using some 2 same type of transistors or 2 different type of transistors. So, okay. So here in push-pull configuration, this is the figure which represents the push-pull configuration. In push-pull configuration, we are using 2 transistors. We are using 2 transistors, and we are using 2 transformers. These transformers are center tapped transformers. That is, this secondary is grounded and this one is connected to this. So we are using 2 transformers, that is center tapped transformers, and we are using 2 transistors, and these 2 transistors are of same type. Okay, and here we are using NPN transistors, and we can also use PNP transistors. We can also use PNP transistors. In such a case, here we are applying minus VCC. If you are using some NPN transistors, this supply is plus VCC. Or in case if we are using some PNP transistors, then we can apply some negative supply. This supply, that is minus VCC. Okay, so this is the basic circuit arrangement of push-pull configuration. Generally, the circuit uses NPN transistors. Okay, that is both the transistors are in CE configuration. Okay, and next. So here the input is applied to the driver transformer. This is driver transformer. This is output transformer. This is driver transformer. This is output transformer. So here the driver transformer drives the circuit. So that is the input signal is applied to the primary of driver transformer, and it is a center tap transformer. You know, so the center tap of secondary is connected to ground. This is the secondary of this transformer is connected to ground. Okay. So when with respect to center tap, for a positive half cycle of input signal, the point A, this is point A, this is point B. So point A on the secondary of the driver transformer will be positive. You are applying input signal or sine wave at the driver transformer. Because of the center tap configuration of the transformer, the signal at point A will be positive. At the same time, the signal at point B will be negative. That is, if you are applying sine wave like this, this is positive half cycle. During positive half cycle, this point, that is the positive half cycle, appears at point A as positive half cycle. But whereas at point B, this will be shifted to negative because of center tapped configuration. Okay. So this is the figure we have. So here we have like consider this is Q1 transistor, this is Q2 transistor. Okay. If you are applying some sine wave input signal, so at point A we can get some positive half cycle. If we are using some center tap transformer here, at point B we have some negative half cycle. Okay. So that is the point here. So the transistor Q1 conducts for the positive half cycle. That is, if we have some positive half cycle at point A, that is passed to transistor Q1, and this is NPN transistor. When NPN transistor conducts, when we are applying some positive signal to the base, then it will conduct. When PNP transistor conducts, when we are applying some negative cycle to the base, then it will conduct. Okay. So during the positive half cycle, that is positive voltage is applied to the base of transistor Q1, that is NPN transistor, it will conduct. Okay. And at this situation, the voltage at point B or the signal at point B is negative, that is negative half cycle. And if you are applying some negative half cycle to the NPN transistor, what will happen? This will be off. NPN transistor off, there is no current. So during the positive half cycle, point A is positive, that is voltage at point A becomes positive, and the signal at point B becomes negative. So because of the positive half cycle, transistor Q1 conducts. Because of the negative half cycle, transistor Q2 does not conduct. That is, it is off, it is on. Q1 on, Q2 off. If it is on, then the signal IB1 or the current IB1 appears at the collector. Okay, that is we have some signal at the collector and that will be passed to the load by the use of this transformer, secondary transformer. This is the case when we are applying some positive offset. Okay, and similarly when we are applying some negative offset. Okay, if you are applying some negative half cycle, what is the operation? When we are applying some negative half cycle, the point A becomes negative. That is the voltage whatever we are applying, that voltage appears at point A. That is at point A we have some negative offset, negative voltage, and at that point because of this center tap transformer, we have some positive offset that will be shifted to positive. Okay, so that is during the negative half cycle, point B is at positive potential, that is the voltage at point B positive and the voltage at point A is negative. Because of the negative half cycle, the transistor Q1, NPN transistor is off. Okay, and because of this positive half cycle, this transistor will be on. That is, in this situation, Q1 is off and Q2 is on. And Q2 is on means the current which whatever we have at the base, that current will be passed to the collector and that will be applied to the load by the use of this secondary transformer. Okay, and these are the output waveforms of corresponding which represents the operation. So here we have some input signal IS, we are applying some input signal, and during the positive half cycle, the transistor Q1 conducts. That is, we have some base current at the base of first transistor. Okay, that is positive. And during this positive half cycle, transistor Q2 is in off condition, and the base current at transistor Q2, that is at point B, is negative. That will be shifted to negative. Okay. So that means we have some collector current, that is IC1 only. At that time, there is no IC2 because Q2 is off. Okay, and during negative half cycle, the point A is negative. The voltage at point A is negative. That is negative half cycle. We have some negative half cycle at point A, and during that time, the voltage at point B will be shifted to positive. Okay, so that is we have some voltage at point B, that is positive, and at point A we have some negative voltage. So at this condition, Q1 is off. Q1 is off means IC1 is 0. There is no current. Collector current of first transistor Q1 is off. That is 0. And during this time, that is at this time, the transistor Q2 conducts. Q2 conducts. That is because of this positive voltage at base P2. Q2 conducts, and we have some current. Collector current IC2. IC2 means collector current of second transistor. That is, we have some current. Okay, so that will be repeated. So that is during positive half cycle, Q1 conducts and IB1 is positive, and we have some IC1. There is no IC2. And during negative half cycle, there is no current at base. That is, the base current is negative of first transistor, and the base current of second transistor is positive. So because of this negative voltage, there is no current at Q1 collector. That is, there is no current at the collector of Q1, and we have some current at the collector of Q2. So by the way, we have some sinusoidal wave. That is, we can get some full cycle at the during the positive half cycle. This one is conduct. During the negative half cycle, this one is conduct. Okay, so that means we can get some full cycle. That is positive half cycle and negative half cycle at the. Okay, so that is the case, or that is the operation of push-pull amplifier. So to get the full cycle at the output, we are using two transistors. During the positive half cycle, one transistor conducts. During the negative half cycle, one transistor conducts, and we can get some full cycle at the output. Okay, let us find out the efficiency of the push-pull amplifier. How we can get the efficiency? Efficiency means so we are what is the ratio of DC power and AC power? Efficiency is the ratio of AC power and DC power. That is PAC by PDC into 100 in terms of percentage. So we should know the values of PDC and PAC. That is DC power and AC power. So DC power means when the DC operation is performed, what is the power we have? That is the DC power. That is when we are applying some DC signal, VCC, to the circuit. What is the power? That is the DC power. And what is AC power? When we are applying some sinusoidal wave, AC power, sorry, when we are applying some AC signal to the circuit, whatever the power we have, that is the AC power. Okay. So first of all, find the value of VDC and next find the value of PS. Then the ratio will be the efficiency of push-pull amp. Okay. So in order to find out the DC power, we are using Quiescent point. By the value of Quiescent point or Quiescent values, VCEQ and ICQ, we can get the DC power. Because when we are applying some DC voltage, we see what is the current, what is the voltage, then the product of that voltage and that current represents the DC power. Okay. So here we know the operating point or the biasing point is adjusted on x-axis. In class B power amplifier, the operating point is on the x-axis. So because of this position, the VCEQ becomes VCC. VCEQ becomes VCC and there is no ICQ because ICQ is 0. So if you observe the figure, so here we can, this is the x-axis. Okay. For class B power amplifier, the operating point is on x-axis. For class A, it is at this active region. But for class B, the operating point is on x-axis. Because of this position, we have the Quiescent current, VCEQ as VCC. How we can get this value? Already in previous sessions, we have covered how we can get the Quiescent values. Okay, just follow that part. So here VCEQ is VCC. What about ICQ? ICQ is 0 because if you draw the slope, if you draw the DC load line with some particular slope, then this is the slope of that load line. Because of this position of operating point, we have some straight line, and there is no ICQ. There is no it is not on this axis. Okay, that is ICQ is 0, but VCEQ is VCC. This is the DC or DC current situation or DC voltage situation. Okay, so here let us Quiescent current values or Quiescent voltage values, and next how we can find out the DC power. So here we are using two transistors, and each transistor output is in the form of half-wave rectifier output. If you observe the output waveforms in the previous slides, we have already observed the output waveform. This is a half-wave rectified wave. That is, we can get some half cycle at the output. Okay. So hence, if IM is the peak value, we know IM is peak value. IPP means peak to peak value. IM or IP is peak value. Okay. So here, if IM is the peak value, then what is the DC value or average value? The DC or average value is IM by pi for one transistor. That is due to half cycle. Due to half cycle, we have current IM by pi. That is the average average current. Okay, and we have two currents or two transistors. Okay, so two currents drawn by the two transistors when we are applying DC voltage VCC. So flows in same direction. So hence the DC or average current from the supply is the sum of those two currents. So here, because of first transistor we have some current, because of second transistor we have some current, and those two currents or those two currents flows in the same direction, and the total current becomes IM by pi plus IM by pi, and that will be 2 IM by pi. IM by pi is the DC power or average power of first transistor, and IM by pi is the second transistor DC or average current values. Okay, and total DC current becomes IDC is equal to 2 IM by pi. Okay, then what is total DC power? DC power means DC voltage. What you are applying? DC voltage as VCC and DC current as IDC. What is IDC here? IDC is 2 IM by pi. So that is power DC is equal to 2 by pi into VCC into IM, because VCC into what is IDC? IDC is 2 by pi into IM. Okay, so this is the DC power. Okay, let us find out the AC power also. So in order to get the AC power, here we are drawing some AC load line. So here, what is RL dash? RL dash means we have we have transformer here, we have secondary winding and primary winding, and the secondary winding resistance reflects at the primary. We know all the data. So here this is the slope of AC load line, that is -1 by RL dash. Okay, just go through some transformer coupled ammeter. This is the slope. How we can get this slope means because of the transformer. Okay, so this is the AC load line. When we are applying some AC signal, this is the load line we have for the circuit. Okay, and if you draw DC load line and AC load line, here we can get some fusion point or operating point on x-axis. So depending on the x-axis, we have some signals at the output. This is the voltage output and this is the current output. Okay, and in order to find out the power, output power means we are finding the power in terms of RMS. That is AC voltage. Here we are applying AC signal. AC voltage means VRMS. In terms of RMS voltage, VRMS is equal to Vm by root 2. We know the formula. And similarly, IRMS. RMS current is Im by root. So here DC power means we are taking some DC or average values. That is in terms of peak, Im and Vm. That is Im means so here DC power means we are taking the average values. That is Im by 5. For the two transistors, that is 2M by 5. Whereas for the AC power, we are taking some RMS values. RMS means Vm by root 2. VRMS is Vm by root 2, IRMS is Im by root 2. Then peak power is, we know the formula P is equal to V into I. So V into I means VRMS into IRMS. VRMS into IRMS. Another formula is I square RMS into RL dash and V square RMS by RL dash. You know the formula. Just we are using this formula only. We are using this formula only. So that is VRMS into IRMS. VRMS means Vm by root 2. IRMS means Im by root 2. That is Vm into Im by 5. So Im by 2. This is AC power. Okay. And this one also in terms of if you substitute IRMS is Im by root 2. This is the value we can get. That is I square Im square RL dash by 2. If you substitute VRMS as Vm by root 2, then this is the equation. Vm square by 2 RL. So just we are using this formula, first one. So what is the efficiency? Efficiency means the ratio of AC power by DC power into 100 in terms of percentage. So that is PAC is Vm Im by 2. Already we know Vm Im by 2. And PDC means 2 by pi into VCC into Im. Just substitute the values, simplify the equation. Then efficiency becomes pi by 4 into Vm by VCC into 100. And what is maximum efficiency? Maximum efficiency means maximum peak output signal. Whatever the signal, what extension we can get the signal. What is the maximum signal we can get at the output. That is the in that case, what is the efficiency? That is the maximum efficiency. So it is clear that for peak value of collector current Vm increases, the efficiency also increases. So here, this is the maximum output swing we can get at the output of power amplifier. Okay, that is from 0 to VCC. In this case, Vm is equal to VCC. That is, when Vm is equal to VCC, we can get the maximum efficiency. That is, in place of Vm, we can substitute VCC here. That is, this is the peak voltage. Peak voltage means it is represented as Vm. Okay. So from this point to this point, what is Vm? That is 0 to VCC means peak value becomes VCC only. Okay, that is Vm is VCC. Peak value becomes VCC. So in place of Vm, substitute VCC in this equation. Then efficiency becomes pi by 4 into VCC by VCC into 100. VCC will cancel and efficiency becomes 78.5%. So this is the maximum efficiency of class B push-pull power amplifier. Okay. So that means when compared to class A, the efficiency of class B increases. Okay. So thank you.